back to the Six-Out Culture podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and not Franchette because Franchette was not able to make it today. But Dan, just me and you, buddy. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Eds? Not much. It was a good weekend for both our sides. Maybe it's better that Francesca's not on the podcast today because if you all were aware, Milan absolutely destroyed Juve. So it's probably better that Francesca's not on here because he probably would turn this podcast into a nice short one into maybe a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, definitely. He likes to go on his rant. So I think after our loss to Milan with big implications for top four, would have definitely meant a rant. So maybe you guys wanted to hear his rant, maybe you didn't, but he's not here today, so he'll be back next time. But yeah, for today it's me and Danny. We'll start off now. There's a couple things we want to touch on. First, I'm going to touch on Darboe. Obviously, as a Roma fan, I'm excited. If you don't know who he is, Prima Darboe, he's from our Primavera team. He's been with us for a long time now, like since the Nangolan and De Rossi days. He's always been training up and down for our main team and our youth team. And he's a refugee who arrived in Italy. I think he arrived in Sicily 5 years ago, one of the two. I'm not too sure. I still have to read more into it, but yeah, he arrived to Italy with a dream, obviously, like many. And his dream was obviously to become a professional footballer and make it. And, well, he made it. He started his first match this past weekend against Crotone. He's played previously. He played last weekend, and he also played this midweek against United in the second leg of our Europa League clash. And he was, if not our best player on the pitch, one of the best players on the pitch against United. To make your European debut against Pogba, which you can say what you want about Pogba. He's not good. He's not bad. Everyone has a different opinion on Pogba. He seems like one of those guys where you can't be really in the middle in him. It's either you like him or you hate him. But whenever anyone says Pogba is not an easy player to go up against on your European debut, I'm sure, Dan, you can agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
He did well, the kid. I'm very impressed with him as well.
Yeah, he did very well. He also went up against Bruno Fernandes, who, same with Pogba, you either love him or hate him. And he did really well. He came in, he won the ball off Cavani multiple times. He frustrated Pogba. Pogba came out early out of the game. He seemed frustrated. At the end of the game, he also, I saw Pogba go up to Darboe and they were exchanging words, which was nice to see. I wonder what they were saying to each other, but I'm sure Pogba gave him some kind words. And yeah, it was great to see Darboe really shine in the spotlight. I consider myself, I guess an avid Primavera viewer. I don't watch every game, but I probably watch 80% of them on Roma TV, if you guys are wondering if any Roma fans don't want to watch them. And Darboe has always been one of our best players, him alongside Zalewski, who also got minutes this past weekend, got an assist, and against United he got a goal. So 2 professional games, a goal and assist for Zalewski. He's one of our best players in our Primavera, maybe our best, if you want to say. Certainly our best attacker. Also, Ruben Providence is up there. Junior Tal is also doing well. We have a lot of good players, but yeah, back to Darboe. When I saw he was starting, I was excited because obviously I think every Roma fan was. When you see a kid do so well against someone like Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, you get hyped, and there's a certain aura around him where people want to see him do well and people want to see him succeed and become the next guy. And he did just that. He had a 97% pass completion. I think he had like 11 recoveries or something crazy. He had a great game against Crotone. He was certainly within the top 3 best players. I think he was the best player in like 60 minutes of the match, and then Pellegrini obviously turned it on and scored 2 goals, and I believe he assisted. I know Mickey had 2 assists that match, and a goal. So, he got overshadowed by the stats, I guess, that stand out more, but he did a lot of little things amazingly. He's smart, he's calm, he's composed. He runs over the pitch, he wins the ball back. He does remind me, obviously it's way too soon to make this comparison, but just style-wise, he reminds me of someone like N'Golo Kante. Obviously a smaller defensive mid, but has a really good work rate and is a box-to-box mid, can go up and down. And that's what Darboe really reminds me of. And yeah, I just hope he can do well. I hope he can continue this. I hope he's picked up a bit of a calf injury, I believe it was. Not calf, maybe it might have been a hamstring or a thigh, I'm not sure, but he picked up an injury, had to come out early. It might have been cramps too. He's been playing a lot lately. But yeah, he came out early. I'm not sure if he'd be available for Inter, But against Lazio in the derby is a very special game for players because that's where you create moments. If you score in the derby, if you score a winner, if you have a stand-up performance, that's a game that will be remembered throughout your whole career. People will always go back to that 4 or 5 years from now. So I'd really like to see Darboe get a moment in the derby to make something happen and continue this momentum he has going forward. So yeah, Roma fans, be excited. Darboe seems special. He's a real deal, and looking forward to the future. But now, speaking about another young talent who at first was judged by his own fans, Serie A fans, maybe even fans of other clubs in Europe. He came to Napoli for a fee of, I believe, around 70 million.
Yeah, 70 mil.
A
Our
big
highest paid
fee.
player of all
Yeah,
time.
highest paid Napoli player of all time for a transfer fee. And his name is Victor Osimhen. He obviously had struggles, like I said. And as of late, since obviously there's a very scary incident where I believe he collapsed
Yeah,
on the
against
pitch.
Bologna.
Yeah, a very scary moment. From there, I was saying in our group chat I was saying don't play him the rest of the year. Let him sit out, let him rest, because something like that's very worrying. Obviously, I'm not a Napoli fan, but I'm a fan of talent, and obviously Osimhen has talent. And to see a kid, and even just as a human being, you don't want to see someone go through that. It was a very scary moment, and I'm glad to see he bounced back from that. And not only did he bounce back from his collapse, he bounced back talent-wise and
Scoring wise.
scoring-wise, everything. He's been great. He's been picking it up. And a question I want to ask Danny, who, if you don't know, is a Napoli fan. I want to ask you, Dan, can Osimhen become a Cavani-like figure in Naples? Like, obviously,
Ooh.
not now, it's too soon, but can he become that in the future? Is he building towards that? Is he on the right
I
path?
personally, when we signed him, I had a little idea of who he was because I heard very good things about him. When he was at Lille, and he had I believe 13, 14 goals last season for them. And maybe 16 and 17 in all competitions. For a 21-year-old who just came to Lille his first season, that's pretty damn good. I personally thought when we signed him for 70 million, I wasn't a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of the price tag, but the way he's been performing as of late, he's living up to that price tag, and I personally believe he can be Cavani-like figure because of the way he plays. Cavani, I don't think I've seen a complete striker like Osimhen who can run from one part of the field from halfway to the goal, like to the opposing half, to the box, I should say, opposing box, and fish a chance since Cavani. And you can argue, Higuain, yeah, he as good as he was for us, he wasn't that type of striker that he can take the ball from halfway and complete sprint it to just on a breakaway. Osimhen has the speed, has a great shooting ability. He can finish the ball. That's one thing he has to work on too, just finishing some chances when we create them. But overall, I personally think he can become the next Cavani figure. As much as Higuain was good for us, he wasn't an all-around. He was just a box present. In the box, you have to be careful because he'll make you pay. Osimhen, you have to be careful because he can get the ball from halfway and beat defenders with his pace, cut in on the left, and make chances happen. I personally believe he can be, and just the way he's been playing as a late, it seems like he can live up to the Cavani hype that a lot of fans had for him when he first joined. And I personally believe the team around him, when Osimhen gets going, he could be one of the best strikers in the league. So hopefully next season he can become that 20, 25 goal scorer that all Napoli fans hope for.
Yeah, well said, Dan. Yeah, Osimhen's a very good striker. We've always known he's had a potential to be a very good striker. We know he has the quality. It was always about, obviously his finishing. I'm sure you can agree at first was, what's the word I want to use?
It was
lacking. It was
yeah.
lacking. Wasn't really there.
And personally, I think it's more just he was adapted. It's hard for a kid, especially at the age of 21, 22, to adapt to the league. And especially with the prices came, so it's a lot of pressure. And being a striker at Napoli is a lot of pressure because of the talents and the past we had with the likes of Higuain, Cavani. You can say even Mertens as well. Maradona too. Like even though he wasn't a striker, he was there. Um, like just all the talents we've had in the past and like the players who came before, it's a lot of pressure. And I personally think that he could live up to the Cavani hype. He just has to keep on playing like the way he has been. Because if he can play like this, then you have to watch out for him because this guy can easily score 20, 25 goals in a season. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I personally think he can live up to the Cavani figure. But even if he is half of Cavani figure, because Cavani, the guy was just a monster for us. Like no one, for me, he was probably if he would have stayed at Napoli, he probably would have been the best striker for us. He probably would have been our top goal scorer at this point. But for me, I feel like Osimhen can live up to the Cavani figure, but I personally don't think he'll be better than Cavani, but I feel like he'll be around the Cavani and Higuain placement by the time he leaves Napoli or if he retires as a Napoli player.
Yeah, and he also definitely has an advantage because he's still very young, and if he decides to stay at Napoli for a long time, he could definitely get up there with, like, if I'm being honest, he could probably easily smash Mertens' goal scoring record.
Yeah,
if he stays for a long time.
Yeah, and especially if he continues to be consistent every game and play like the way he has been. He's someone like you have to keep an eye on the whole time because he can hurt you with the speed and he can hurt you with like his finishing ability. And plus he's tall too. I think he's 6'2", I believe. So he can win if he learns how to be more physical in the air and win headers, he can be a complete striker.
Yeah, definitely. A complete
all-around striker.
And don't, like any Napoli fan or anything, like don't take this as a diss, but I think like Mertens has 140 or something or 30 around there goal scored all time. Like obviously like for top goal scorer of a club, I don't think it's that much. Like it's not too much, 130, 40. So I feel like that's very beatable. And the thing with Napoli is they're very unlucky because their top strikers always leave.
Yeah, it's always like every time
soon.
it's all the time like every time like they're coming to par or if they're coming around like, okay, finally we have a striker. Next summer he leaves for a good fee, 60 million, 90 million. Hopefully Napoli learned the mistakes that they did with Cavani. I'm not going to even mention Higuain, but selling him to Juventus especially, they just learned because it's hard for a team to win when we're always replacing players who leave for heavy fees. When Higuain left, we had to replace him with Milik. Milik was on a tear, and then he tore his ACL, and he hasn't been the same since. So hopefully Napoli can watch Osimhen, take care of him, and develop him properly because this kid, he's special. He's a special talent, and I believe he can help Napoli win Scudetto one year.
Yeah, definitely. If Napoli don't make the same mistakes as they did in the past, because obviously someone like Cavani could have had probably 300 goals if he stayed there his whole career.
Oh, yeah, probably could have maybe close to 400 goals for Napoli the way he's been playing. He had 104 goals in 148 games, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if Osimhen stays for any type of meaningful period, I think he'll smash Mertens' record. Not easily, but I think he'll smash it at some point.
He'll be close, but I believe he'll go down in maybe top 5, top 10 if he can stay.
Definitely. And speaking about young, special, and talented strikers, we also got another one I want to speak about. Dusan Vlahovic. Obviously, you guys know for 2 years now I've been talking about this guy. I love Vlahovic. I just think he's a talented player with a lot of quality and upside. And DiMarzio, I believe it was 2 weeks ago or a week ago, could have been. He came out and said that he is worth 60 mil. That's the price tag Fiorentina and Rocco Commisso have set on him. That's a crazy price tag, and I just want to talk a little bit about that. Like, if we think 60 mil is justifiable to spend on someone who's really had one season of actually starting for the club. First off, like Vlahovic, you guys know, like I told you, I love Vlahovic. He's one of my favorite players.
So good.
He's so good. He's so talented, and there's some players where, like for me, when I personally saw Vlahovic, it was before he even scored a goal in Serie A. I watched him, I believe it was against Cagliari, I could be wrong, last season, and I was like, wow, this kid is good. Like, he's tall, he's physical, he has a personality about him, like kind of like a Haaland. Like Haaland has like that thing about him. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like when you're watching him, you know he has like that personality. Ibra obviously has tons of it. And Vlahovic was another one. When I saw him, I'm like, this kid has something about him. I'm just watching his presence on the pitch, and I'm like, this guy's going to be good. And here we are in the 2020-21 season, and we have Vlahovic at 21 goals at the age of 21, which is incredible. He's tied with Lukaku, who is the striker on the Scudetto winning team. And people say, oh, Vlahovic scored a lot of pens. I think Lukaku scored more pens than him, if not close anyways. But yeah, Vlahovic is a great striker. And 60 mil, that's a big question. Is it worth it?
Mm.
It's tough because
It's
he's only had a
debatable.
season.
Yeah, and that's why, like, especially because it's kind of like the same thing with Osimhen too. Like it's same boat. Both had very good seasons last season. Even the year before last season, I think it was the 2019-2020 season. He scored 6 goals or something in a short
Yeah.
amount of time. So which was pretty good. Like we got a glimpse of what he's capable of last season as well, and then this season just took off. 60 mil, I think at this point, I think it's a little too much because we've seen what happened with guys like say Chiesa,
Sheik.
Bernardeschi, like they all left. They were having very good seasons for Fiorentina, uh, and like in seasons I should say, and then they go join Juventus and Chiesa. I think he shined more than what Bernardeschi is, and they all went like for good money, like for Fiorentina. And they haven't lived up to it. So I feel like 60 mil might be a little too much for Vlahovic, but if they can keep him for next season as well, and he can also provide what he has now, then that's a different discussion. But I think for 1 year, you can say 1.5 years, 60 million for a striker, I think it's a little too much. I think more like 40, 50 million, we can even say, but if he can continue to perform next season as well, if Fiorentina somehow keep him, then we can talk about maybe 60. Will the 60 million be too little for him? Like, so I think right now 60 is a little too much. I think more like 45, 50 million is a right price tag for him. But we'll see what happens in the summer if Fiorentina decide to keep him, or if a team bites and gets to 60 million, see how he can adjust.
Yeah, and I'm not buying the price tag for a second. Obviously, the report, like I believe, is because Di Marzio is the king of Calcio Mercato, but I don't buy the 60 mil for a second. I think that Rocco Commisso is trying to raise his value. An example is like Chiesa. Commisso
Yeah.
was saying, oh, Chiesa's 70, 80 mil. I'm not selling him for less. And he went to Juve for, I think, 50 mil.
Yeah,
So,
that's why and it's also too depending on what league he goes to. Like, could Vlahovic continue like the success he has in Serie A and say like a league like the Premier League, or will it be like, oh, okay, he goes for good money like 60 million, but he ends up scoring half the goals he scores in the Serie A.
yeah,
So
you
it
just
all
never know.
depends. Yeah, it all depends what league he goes to and like what team is willing to sign him, because 60, like if a team like say for example like a team like Roma, for example, really wants him and they go, okay, we'll give you 45 million for him, and Fiorentina bites on it, that could be a bargain for them. That could be like a very good signing for them at one point, because then if he continues to become the player he is at one point, who knows if this kid could be over 100 million. So it all
Yeah.
depends on like the team, but I feel like what you said with Camiso, I feel like he's just trying to get the best value for him. But at the end of the day, I think he might be, if he decides to leave Fiorentina, maybe 45 million, 50 million could be the right price for him.
Yeah, and the thing I like about Vlahovic is that he's Serie A proven. We've seen him in the Serie A now for 2 years, and at the age of 21, he's the second top goal scorer in the league, only with
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo ahead of him. So
I
that's
could
why
be
I'm
wrong,
like,
but I think him and Haaland could be the youngest. I think it's under 21 goal scorers. They can be. I think they're joint tied for like most goals in the league.
I think so,
They're under 21.
most
Him and
likely.
Haaland. And that's
And
crazy. Anytime you can compare, like, say for example with Osimhen, him and Haaland and Osimhen are the two youngest players in top five Europe to score double-digit goals in back-to-back seasons. So anytime you can compare yourself with Haaland, and we all know how good Haaland is, the kid must be not be that bad. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm pretty sure I'm very sure that him and Vlahovic and Haaland are tied. Not tied, but like one first and second for most goals in the top five league for players under 21.
Yeah, definitely. And look at the club too. Also, Holland has
Yeah,
a very good players around them, and Vlahovic with I think 14th place Fiorentina. I think they're 14th.
the second best player you can argue is 38-year-old Ribery.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not really getting much service, and Vlahovic is more of a striker that relies on service and having a player who can set him up. He's not really one who will bring the ball up the pitch too much, but he can do it, like we saw against Benevento with that strike into the top left corner from outside the box. He can do it, but I think if you put Vlahovic with a quality striker, this kid's gonna explode. And that's why
Yeah.
Roma, I really want someone like that. I think Pellegrini, who is
Yeah, there's good
arguably,
service around him. This kid can probably break Higuain and Immobile's record.
yeah, definitely, in the future I can see it definitely happening. He loves to score, and he's also a team player. He runs back a lot. He plays hard. And, yeah, I'm really hoping Roma can pick him up. If not, I hope, a good team that's going to give him the right opportunity picks him up because, I'm going to support Vlahovic. I think he's a great player and I really hope he stays in the Serie A.
I would love to take him and Osimhen together. Oh my god. Just imagine that.
That would be incredible, that duo. But, speaking about Fiorentina, Gattuso, a report came out yesterday. De Zerbi will be making his way to Shakhtar at the end of the season. A great career move for him. We wish him nothing but the best. He's a great manager with great tactics, great ideas, and a great understanding of the game and how it's played. We've seen that in his Sassuolo now for a couple of years, and they've done really well under him. But Gattuso is in talks at the moment with Fiorentina, according to Fabrizio Romano. And apparently Napoli has already decided that Gattuso will no longer be their manager going forward, which is it's tough, right? Because Gattuso came from Milan, who at Milan he wasn't considered a good coach, more just a motivator. He's still considered that in a way, but at Napoli you really saw what he could do with more time. As time has gone on, he's gotten better, and he's had his struggles. Every manager has struggles. I think it's unfair to be too overly critical on him because every great manager has tough times. It's just natural. It's part of the sport. But Gattuso's really lately seemed to really get out of that slump since the match against Granada in the Europa League. And Napoli's been on a great run. It seems like the players love him. It seems like the city loves him, the fans, and everyone. So it's tough to see him go.
Fans are debatable on Gattuso, but
Fans,
I know
yeah,
more. I know a lot more people who like Gattuso than who don't.
yeah.
But
I'm sure no one hates him, but maybe some will want another
yeah,
manager. But
no, I love Gattuso regardless.
yeah,
I grew up watching him play, dominate the midfield, just be aggressive in the midfield. Watch him coaching Napoli. Like, I have nothing but respect for the guy, and for me, it's tough. I don't think it's a good move for Napoli, letting Gattuso go, unless, like I said on a few I think it was last podcast or a few podcasts ago, if you can't upgrade Gattuso, don't like keep Gattuso. I feel like under Fiorentina, especially going back to Vlahovic, I feel like especially with Osimhen too. Gattuso took Osimhen under his wing, taught him a lot of things, helped him, and you see it too when Osimhen scores. He goes up to Gattuso and hugs him, high fives him. Like you can see the respect that both the player and the coach have. And I feel like if Gattuso goes to Fiorentina, I feel like Vlahovic could shine as well. Like he can be a great manager, a great player under him as well. And it'll be a good move for Gattuso because I feel like under Fiorentina, it's not much pressure compared to the pressure he has at Napoli. But also too, thinking about Napoli's standpoint, if you bring in a guy like Spalletti, you have to question, is it really an upgrade over Gattuso? Tactically, maybe, but I just don't think he's the right guy to bring in. I feel like if you have to bring in a manager, I feel like a guy like not Spalletti, Sadi would be a perfect one. Would be a great one. Allegri would be a great one. And heck, even Galtier from Lille, if somehow he leaves, if they win the title, I don't think he'll leave. But I feel like if you can't upgrade Gattuso, you have to keep him. And I feel like Spalletti, I'm starting to think he's more of a downgrade, and I believe he's a downgrade because he hasn't coached since 2019, 2018. He
yeah.
hasn't coached in a few years. So who knows if this guy still has it? Sometimes it's a risk because sometimes when you take a guy who hasn't coached in a couple of years, yes, you can argue Allegri, but Allegri, he's a winner. He's a proven winner. Spalletti, what has he won? A Coppa Italia, a few Coppa Italias. I don't think he's won the Scudetto. I don't believe. And I just think getting Spalletti is more of a downgrade than keeping Gattuso. So we'll see at the end of the year. But if Gattuso does go to Fiorentina, if they can build a team around Gattuso, like the way Gattuso coach, I think they could be they'll be better than what they are now. But I feel like a guy like Vlahovic will shine even more under Gattuso.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's a great manager, and
And it's also
yeah,
let me just get back to this. It's also a good move for Fiorentina because they're in a rebuilding stage. And why not get Gattuso, who proved in the past he's good at rebuilding teams? He took a Milan team who had nothing. They had nothing to almost the Champions League. He took Napoli from 7th place, won them a Coppa Italia, and he has them fighting for top 4 right now. So Gattuso to Fiorentina it will be a great move for him because they're in a rebuilding stage, and Gattuso is a great manager for a team to rebuild around.
yeah. Like I was saying, he's a great manager for rebuilding and for getting the best out of what he has. Players love him, and fans love him because of how much passion he shows on the field.
Yep.
So obviously it's not 100% he's going to Fiorentina, but I think for a while now we've all had a feeling that
It's a good
he
chance.
will eventually end up there. And yeah, he's in talks with them, according to Fabrizio Romano, who is very reliable.
Yeah.
So
I just got a question too. With De Zerbi going to Sassuolo, who would Sassuolo bring in?
He's going to Shakhtar.
Shakhtar.
Yeah.
De Zerbi going to Shakhtar, who would Sassuolo bring in?
That's the thing. The thing is Sassuolo is they bring in a lot of names out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're very good at that.
I feel like I don't know why. Call me crazy. I can see Fonseca going there. I can see Fonseca going to Sassuolo. It makes sense for both sides because Fonseca, I feel like under Sassuolo, the way Sassuolo play, the players they have, I feel like he'll be good under them. Like he'll be a good manager under them. Or they'll probably, like you said, go for a guy that just came up, like an Italiano or something, and let him coach for Sassuolo. But it's interesting to see who they'll bring in.
It could be possible, but I just don't see it happening. I think Fonseca's above a team like Sassuolo.
Yeah.
I still think Fonseca's a great manager. I think he's still one of the best in Serie A. It's unfortunate, like right now we have 11 injuries. We've had, I think, like 70 something in total this whole year. It's crazy. And his best player has been out for 2 years, so.
Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if Fonseca goes to Napoli. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And
Napoli like taking chances on managers like that.
And you know what?
Spalletti will go Sassuolo. There you go. I'll be happy with that.
The way Napoli is built is made for Fonseca, and obviously, like, fans of other clubs who don't follow Roma too closely, they see the results and they say, oh, this guy sucks, but they don't understand how much this guy's gone through. We've had an ownership change. He had to deal with no sporting director, which is the guy who buys you players, if you guys know what that role is. We haven't had a sporting director. Now we finally have one. Then his best player was out for basically 2 years. He's injuries every week. We make it to the semifinals of the Champions League, but Gattuso goes down in the 3rd minute. Spinazzola goes down somewhere in the 20th.
Goes hurt. Gets hurt.
Paul Lopez dislocates his shoulder, whatever happened there. And then he has to play guys like Darboe, who is 19 years old, making his debut. Like, this guy's had to go through so much, and it's hard to see him go, obviously. I think he's a great manager still, but bringing in someone like Mourinho, obviously I'm happy. But I really hope Fonseca can get a club like Napoli. I think Napoli fans will be pessimistic when he first arrives, if he is to arrive. And then I think they'll be over the moon when the season starts. They're going to see what they have on their hands, because someone like Insigne will be incredible for him.
Yeah, I just want someone, like, if we do bring in a manager, I just want someone to be an upgrade over Gattuso. I'm going based off what I believe is an upgrade. I don't think Spalletti is an upgrade, but Fonseca, yes, we can all debate, yes. I'm not a huge fan of Fonseca, just not based off, like, the way he coaches and stuff, just the way, again, Roma, we have a lot of injuries. I just don't think he would be right for us just because of the way the team is, but I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in because I'm the type, always want someone I want an upgrade over Gattuso. That's bottom line. I just don't think Spalletti would be an upgrade just because of what he's done in the past. I think he's outdated, you can say. And he hasn't coached in 3 years. I want someone who had a job recently and who's a proven winner. Spalletti, for me, him and Gattuso are on par. They're the same type of player, coach. But I do believe if you're going to get Spalletti, just keep Gattuso at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens, but I'm just going to, I won't, if Spalletti does come in, I won't be a huge fan of it, but I will respect him because he's our manager.
Obviously, we've got a lot of things that have to unfold in these coming months. We'll make sure to keep you guys updated and give our thoughts as things go on until the Calcio Mercato opens up and all this stuff. All the dominoes fall into place. So we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be an interesting summer. That's all I gotta say.
Definitely.
A lot of crazy stuff could potentially happen, especially after Euros.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to it. To end off here, we're going to talk about Milan, Juve, the big match from this past weekend. Going into it, everyone knew it has big implications going into it. Juve is a team who pays a lot of wage bills. They have guys like Ronaldo and Dybala, which I believe them two combined is like 42 mil or something close to that, or maybe just 40 mil in total, but just two players like that. That's they got to pay a lot of money. Would you say that? So. Going into this match, they're like, we need top four. It's a big match for top four. And it was a must-win game. Maybe not must-win, but pretty close to a must-win.
Both sides.
Yeah. And they're still in it. Obviously, they lost 3-0. But that match would have been nice if they won for them because top four is a must when you're paying all this money. So they're definitely going to have to shed some wage bill in the summer if they don't make top four. But yeah, for the match itself, it was a good match. It was very entertaining. It was back and forth. I think Milan were definitely the more intense side. They came in with more intensity. They were pushing more. They seemed like they wanted it more, and they got it. Teo Hernandez played well. He was going up and down the pitch. As always, playing like a left winger. Rebic, that goal. Oh, wow. That was amazing. Rebic murdered that ball. Yeah, I'm surprised the ball didn't pop midair. Straight into the top corner. Doesn't get more perfect than that. We also had a missed penalty from Kessier, which you don't see often. It was a very rare sight to see. And just overall, it was a good match to watch. Juventini are going to be questioning Pirlo. They're going to be questioning Agnelli. Reports have come out that they might not even be participating in Serie A next season because of their involvement in the Super League. A lot of things are going down as we speak. Just news is coming out left and right. But Dan, what do you think about that match that took place this past Sunday between Juve and Milan?
Yeah, no, it was a good match for Milan. They came away with a 3-0 win. The match was kind of boring for the first 35 minutes.
Yeah,
nothing really happened until Szczesny made a mistake. I wish Venture was on the podcast so he can go off on that. But he made a huge mistake not claiming the ball. But then Diaz did absolutely amazing just to keep his composure and find the top corner. And from there, I thought Milan were the better side. But then when the penalty came, I thought when Kessie missed a pen, I thought the game was going to be tied because of just the way the game is, and that's how soccer goes. But Milan kept their head in the game. They got two big goals, one from Salamakers, which was a screamer. Oh, not Salamakers, Rebic, which was absolutely amazing. The goal he scored kept Szczesny rooted. And then Tomori with a beautiful header just to finish it off. And it was a big win for Milan. And Juve are in trouble. They're in trouble because they might not even make it to Champions League. And like you were saying too, they have a lot of money to pay off. And also too, Pirlo's job is on the line. So who knows if he's going to be the manager at the end of the season or if he's going to be the manager next season, I should say. Maybe in the leg we could come in, try to rebuild the side. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Juve in the summer and to see if they end up getting top four.
Yeah, 100%. Top four is very important for both clubs. For a team like Milan, who was first place I think they won the Scudetto, I'm pretty sure. And for a team that win the Scudetto and then not even be in the top four spot come the end of the season would be horrific. Like, what a drop. Like, talk about falling from heaven. That would just be an incredible drop for them. But they won the game. They're in top four at the moment. They're staying in there. And all the pressure's on Juve now, who's sitting in fifth place behind Napoli. All the pressure's on them. Napoli have a relatively easy schedule coming up. I think Milan have a pretty tough one. If I'm not actually, I actually think it's pretty soft. There's a couple. Yeah, Juve. They need to play Inter still, which even though they already won the Scudetto, Inter seems to be still trying, judging by their 5-1 win over Samp. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy game against Inter. But yeah, Juve was the team I was thinking about. A tough game left still. So we'll see what goes on here. It's going to be interesting, this top four race. And before we end off, I have a couple of shout-outs I want to make here. Salernitana, obviously, they're up. Napoli's new rivals have arrived in the Serie A. They're back up from the
War
Serie
has
B.
begun.
Yeah, war has begun between the two fan bases. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out because on Twitter, all I see is a back and forth already taking place. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out next year. Also, shout out to the Calcio boys. They're having a FIFA 21 Sick Kids Charity Cup, and all proceeds are going to sick kids, and it's going to be great. It's great what they're doing. A nice initiative by them. And we have Danny participating for the Napoli Club of Toronto, and we have Franche who'll be participating for us. So yeah, Dan, sorry, but we got to root for Franche here.
Hopefully we all match up first round because it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. Emotional match for me.
Check that out. Yeah, it's going to be a huge match, and if that happens, we're looking forward to it. And yeah, once again, shout out to the Calcio boys. Thank you for inviting us, and yeah, great initiative by them. So definitely go support them and support the cause and donate. Any little amount helps. So yeah, support the cause. We're gonna wrap it up here. We'll be back next week. Check out our social media at 6@Calcio. And until next time, ciao.
Ciao, guys.